congratulating all of you out there. For a month, we've been covering the rebellion of the states against the tyranny. The federal government has been completely hijacked and is illegitimate. They are bringing in one of the most vicious tyrannies ever seen on record. Our worst analysis turned out to be less than what the truth was. It was far worse than we thought. These are the time that try men and women's souls. And we just want to commend and thank all of you that are here and spreading the word, because this issue of the states saying no to the globalists, this is the only hope we've got. They're bankrupting us by design to bring us into receivership. For the next hour, he's going to be in studio with us. George Humphrey, my good friend. I remember when I first started getting active in like 1995, and I remember I was running around volunteering for Pat Buchanan because he was speaking out against the New World Order at the time. Love him or hate him, the point is we were just learning. And I went over to drop off a bunch of signs to another volunteer, and it was at George Humphrey's house. And George is a former city council member, successful businessman, degreed economist. That's why we have him here today in studio with us. After the show's over, he's the last interview we're doing for the Obama deception, because I want to insert him some into this film that you can already pre-order. It'll be done in a few weeks. You pre-order it now at Infowars.com. Today. Hope that you will do that. George, I want you to recap what you said in that brief interview earlier this week when you were just here visiting, when you were on for 10 minutes. And then let's go through where you see the future and the different divergent paths that the future can bring that we literally are the governors of if we simply take action and put our will into it. George Humphrey, great to have you here.
First of all, I am so glad to be here. And, Alex, what you are doing and what you've done in this last 6 months is just awesome. And what you've been doing for the last 15 years is just incredible. And it's been a real pleasure and an honor to be your friend and ally in this period of time. I mean, you know what? When we first got involved in it, we were kind of scared we'd lose our friends. And I just finished being a city council member, and I was wanting to run for U.S. Congress, and I said, God, if I talk about this stuff, I won't be able to run for Congress. And I went, well, what's more important, telling the truth or doing this? And so for the last 10, 12 years, there was a lot of ostracism. There was a lot of people who made fun, who derided us. You know, there goes Alex, there goes George. Those are the crazy guys talking about the New World Order. But over and over and over, and especially this last 4 or 5 months, more and more and more people are coming up to me. I was just at Starbucks on the way here. 3 folks, just as straight as they can be, you know, frat guys, come up to me. Aren't you the guy? And they knew all about your show, and they'd just become aware of this stuff. Everybody is becoming aware, and information is the key. And that's what we're here to do. We don't have to pump anything up. There's so much information. This is not conspiracy theory. It's just the history of what's going on in our culture and what is happening right now. And we have a choice. And the first thing is to become educated. And clearly, our nation, our culture, is addicted to materialism, to the soft life, to a very unhealthy way of going through life. We've forgotten God. We've forgotten our families. And, you know, just like in Alcoholics Anonymous, they talk about the different steps of denial and derision and of anger and of fear and of depression, and then finally of acceptance. And it's my opinion that with this recession, which is actually a depression that we're going into right now, is that a majority of the people in this country are going from derision, and they've been going through anger, and now they're going into fear and depression.
Stay there. Got a break. George Humphrey. George Humphrey's our guest in studio, filmmaker, author, resistor of the New World Order. He came up in that early 1990s wave that so many of us activated in. We felt it in our spirit. All the evidence was there. Now a wave, I would say 1,000 times bigger, a wavelength has begun. The enemy sees it. We've analyzed their attack profile, George, and it's all about stopping the states, and more I realize that is the key point, and they are scared. And I think if the people just energize and realize they have victory, and the phony Christian churches have taught them this is the end, you've got to lay down to corruption, you can't stop it. That's the opposite of what Christ taught.
Absolutely.
And regardless of, the consequences, we're always to do right. And the clergy response teams, the brainwash FEMA patrols, now it's all public. Everything we said came true. Now people that laughed at us are remembering and they're understanding. So now is the time of maximum effort. Please continue.
Well, absolutely. And I think we should go back to our philosophy about what life is and what you just said. The one that most people call Jesus, who I call Yeshua, he taught individual freedom. He taught about spirituality, about divinity, that each and every one of us are powerful, we're divine, we're sovereign, and that one person can make a difference. 75 years ago, we saw Mahatma Gandhi do the same thing in India. And that's what you and I and others are doing, is that not only are we sharing the information of the first awakening, but we're also sharing the information that every single one of us is a part of the healing or the destruction of this culture. And I choose, and I think you choose, to be a part of the healing. And the first thing is to get the right information. And quite clearly, the culture of America has been, and of the Western cultures, has been manipulated very, very cleverly to make people, put people in victim consciousness and to make us addicted. And we quite clearly have become addicted to mammon or materialism or to the soft life. And in Alcoholics Anonymous, they always say the first step is acknowledgement. And then they talk about the different steps of breaking through. And it's denial, it's depression, derision, and then it's anger, and then fear, and then depression, and then finally acceptance. And for years and years, the information that Alex and I put out, it was denied.